Hello there, and thank you so much for clicking on my review of the 2022 Honda Accord in the Touring Hybrid trim. If you're watching this video at the time of release in fall 2022, next year in 2023, the Honda Accord will enter its 11th generation, and both the exterior, interior, and parts of the drivetrain will be refreshed. The next generation of the Accord will fall in line with the design style of the 2023 Honda Civic and the 2023 Honda CR-V. Both vehicles we will be reviewing next year. I absolutely love the Honda Accord, especially in the Touring Hybrid trim. If you're looking for a fuel-efficient, value-packed, and surprisingly sporty sedan, I really think the Honda Accord takes the cake. I 110% recommend this vehicle if you're interested in it. Alternatively, if you already own one, rest assured you made the right buying decision. There's a reason why Honda has sold over 18 million Accords since 1989, and to this very day it is still one of the best-selling cars in North America. In this review, I'll be going over the exterior, interior, and drive performance of the Honda Accord before concluding my final opinions. So let's get this review on the road and start with the exterior. I've always liked the way Honda has designed their vehicles, and the Accord is no exception. The 2022 Accord has a far sportier and low-slung look than I would have expected for a sedan. Honda claims that the Accord's lower stance, a longer hood line, and shorter rooftop reduce both the vehicle's center of gravity, thus improve handling. On the outside, both LED lighting and auto high beam are standard regardless of trim, which is a really nice feature to have. The Honda Accord is mostly built from high-strength steel, but the bumpers, hood, and the front subframe are actually made of aluminum, which sheds around 150 pounds of extra weight. The front suspension is McPherson strut, however the rear is a multi-link rear independent suspension. Now, if you go for the top-end touring trim, Honda offers the adaptive damper system. Honda claims that the Accord will monitor road conditions up to 1/500th of a second and will adjust the suspension automatically to improve both ride quality and compliance. If you choose to drive in sport mode, the suspension stiffens to reduce body roll and improve driver inputs. While we'll discuss these issues in more detail later in the review, I consider the adaptive suspension absolutely kills it. Honda offers numerous powertrains depending on trim level. At the bottom is the 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4, which puts out around 190 horsepower. If you move up to the more premium 2 liter inline 4 turbo, power jumps up to 252 horsepower. The 2 liter turbo engine available for the Accord is the same engine used in the legendary Civic Type R. Last but not least is the 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4 engine on the hybrid trim, which when combined with the electric motor puts out 212 horsepower and 232 foot-pounds of torque. The 1.3 kilowatt-hour battery is under the rear seat and is charged by either the onboard gas engine or when you press on the brakes to activate regenerative braking. When starting from a standstill, hybrids employ the electric motor and the gas engine only comes on when more power is needed or at higher speeds. The Accord is a very fuel-efficient vehicle in its gas form. The hybrid Accord is just on another level. I was able to get around just under 5 liters per 100 kilometers, which is very close to 50 miles per gallon when driving around town and to work. That is absolutely remarkable, and the Accord is super cheap to fill up even with gas prices through the roof. The benefit of owning a hybrid is maximized in a gridlock city. When you drive on the highway, hybrid cars tend to use the gas engine anyway. But if you live in a busy city with lots of stop and go traffic like LA, Toronto, or Vancouver, hybrid vehicles are the way to go. You don't burn gas idling since you have an electric motor. You never have to worry about the battery going flat because you have a gas motor as a backup. So now that we've talked about the exterior and some of the benefits of the Touring Hybrid trim, let's jump inside and see how the interior of the Accord Hybrid stands up. The Accord has an excellent interior, and the first thing I noticed was the superb build quality. I've always been a fan of Honda craftsmanship. Buttons and fixtures are all tight to the touch, and there isn't any creep or play at all. When configuring the automatic climate control, each turn of the dial is tactile, and the air conditioning and airflow buttons have a good press to them. The leather-wrapped steering wheel is really nice to use, and it is heated. You can access your gauge cluster control, volume meeting settings, as well as your adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist settings through the steering wheel buttons. Now the Accord is a little bit different. Instead of a standard shifter, the shifter is a set in buttons that control the drive, park, and reverse features. The Accord also has a brake hold feature and access to an electronic parking brake. You can also access both Sport and Eco modes, which tune the engine's suspension for performance or improved fuel economy respectively. There's also an EV mode which turns off the Accord's gas engine completely and switches the Accord to an all-electric mode. The EV mode only gives you a couple miles of range. It only works if the onboard battery is fully charged or very close to. When it comes to the infotainment system, the Honda Accord uses a 7-inch touchscreen display. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay do come standard, and wireless pairing is supported on the Touring trim. Honda's infotainment system is simple but effective, and I had no trouble accessing my media, phone, and vehicle settings through the screen. A backup camera is standard. The Accord and the Touring trim has parking sensors which alert you if you get too close to cars or other objects both in front of you and behind you when parking your car. The leather seats are also superb with lots of support, and they are both heated and cooled for touring trims. Nothing but great things to say here. I drove all across the island on a work trip and I had no back discomfort at all. The same can be said for the rear passengers, who also have access to non-USB ports for charging phones and electronic devices. If you want, you can also knock down the rear seats and you get extra room if you need to move larger objects. Rear trunk room is quite good for a full-size sedan. I was able to fit everything I needed to. Under the trunk, there's a bit more room to store roadside supplies. So now that we talked about the exterior and interior of the Honda Accord, let's jump outside and get this car on the road. To start off, the Honda Accord drives like a track car. Now you're probably thinking I'm exaggerating a bit. How can a sedan like the Accord ever compare to a real track car like a Porsche Boxster? Well, the answer is simple. The Accord is such a low center of gravity. When you go on around the bends of road and take the course quickly, the car doesn't even roll a millimeter. The Accord drives super flat. It's so much fun to flick around the corners because even though the Accord is front wheel drive, it feels so well balanced and confident that you would think the power went to all four wheels. On top of this, the steering itself is extremely precise, sporty, and you can feel a bit of road feel coming through. The Accord is so easy to point and feels very nimble despite its size. When you press on the gas, the power delivery is seamless with the electric motor kicking in before they feel the gas engine kick on. Because the electric and gas motors work together, when you press on the gas, the Accord actually pulls decently hard and you can expect a sub 7-second 0 to 60 time. On the Touring trims, the automatic dampening system is superb. The suspension is supposedly reactive, meaning it can adjust to road conditions. What this means is that the suspension absorbs all the little road jitters so well that any road feels so buttery smooth to drive on. The suspension just nails tightness with compliance, and the Accord mixes the very best handling that you would expect from a high-end sports car with the practicality of an everyday sedan. Last, the Accord is super quiet with excellent insulation and acoustic glass windshield. Overall, I just can't stop saying great things about the Accord's handling. Also, it doesn't hurt that the Accord Hybrid is super fuel efficient as well, so you get an excellent handling car that doesn't cost an arm and a leg to drive. So now that we wrapped the review, I hope you learned something new about the 2022 Honda Accord. It absolutely blew me away. It's not every day that you get to find a car that can give you an excellent interior, superb handling, and incredible fuel economy. If you're in the market for an Accord, you have to take a look at it. There's a reason why it's so popular. Thanks again so much for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a like or subscribe. Have a great day.